Welcome to the Confidad Podcast. So glad to have you here with me today. Like we do every day, we're going to start with a fatherhood mindset and talking about what is true in fatherhood, reminding you what is true. We'll move into equipping. Today, we're going to talk about the power of viewing humans as interdependent as opposed to codependent or independent. And then lastly, I'm going to empower you with words running right into the weekend. And I'm excited to have you here. I'm trying to make this a little bit more like, what would it be like to sit across from Dan at a table, to have coffee, to open up my heart and talk about the hard, deep things of fatherhood, the things that bring you the most joy and the things that bring you the most maybe fear or challenge in that arena. And so that's what I do with all of my clients, potential clients, pretty much anyone that wants to talk to me about what I do. We dive deep and we go fast because the quicker that we unpack this, the sooner you uncover blind spots and the sooner you can start to grow and become that dad that your kids need you to be. So without further ado, here we go, moving right into mindset. Say this with me. I am the only one who can fulfill the father role I have, so I choose to do it well. I get to show up well for my kids. Imperfection is reality, but my ownership is a choice. Today is brand new, so is tomorrow. I am wholly loved, so I will love wholly. All right, time for equipping. The very first episode of the Confidad Podcast, I argued the case for interdependent parenting in contrast with independence or codependency. Codependency quickly is like, you've heard of the helicopter parents. They want to control everything. Those have kind of evolved these days into what we call snowplow parents. They make the path clear. Like it's flat, it's level, it's free of all the snow, there's no hills, and it's easy. The problem with this is without any resistance, our kids don't grow. They don't become resilient. They don't become strong. Those are very important aspects as kids grow into adulthood. The other side of it is independence. We hear that all the time, right? Independence is like this thing that we sell within the American dream. Like you can be a self-made man or woman. You can do it all on your own. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, which if you're a physics person, that doesn't even, like, you can't literally anyway. But moving to that independence mindset, a lot of people struggle with that because internally they feel like they should be able to do it all by themselves. But when they can't, there is a cognitive dissonance there. It's like both things can't be true. I can't both be independent, but also then feel inside that I can't do it all on my own. You understand what I'm saying? All the research and everything that I've done and looked into, and people way smarter than me, talk about the idea of interdependency being a key element in how we raise our kids, how we train them. Here's what interdependence is: helping them understand their strengths, their gifts, what they're good at, kind of their natural passions and their natural bents, and then fostering those strengths into skills and honing them into skills, not just relying on raw talent, but moving from talent to skill. And then also understanding, like, what are you not good at? What are you weak in? Where are the areas of your life where you really struggle? And as parents, if we can create this conversation with our kids, it can really become an identity solvent where all the stuff that they feel like should be true, that isn't true, that doesn't need to be true, can dissolve away. And then the stuff that is true, that's core at the essence, the good seeds I talk about in my course, the good seeds that your kids have within them, it's our job to water them, to fertilize them, to continue to help them to grow as they become strong, confident, interdependent adults. Part of being strong and confident is knowing what you're good at and being confident enough to ask for help. Sometimes we think humility means like dismissing our gifts or thinking that it means something else. And we'll talk more about humility later, but really confidence comes from understanding what you're good at being confident in that, and then being confident to ask for help or to seek out help outside of yourself in the things where you struggle. This goes deep fast. There's lots of kind of soft skills around this. But if we can create that for our kids, that's wonderful. Here's the difficult part. It is really hard to do this for our kids if we don't understand it ourselves. Reality is we need to embrace interdependence ourselves to truly teach it to our kids. If we only worry about telling our kids, oh, it's okay to ask for help when you need it, they'll hear this: do as I say, not as I do, which sometimes can come with some pretty bleak unintended consequences. They start lying to us. They start pretending like they don't need help, or saying things like this to themselves, which my kids have said, and I'm struggling with it. I'm trying to help push them to a place of like, no, you rely on mom and dad. They've said, I don't want to talk to you about this because you already have enough going on, and I don't want to add more to your plate. How kind, how loving, how thoughtful and considerate of them. However, they're not adults. They don't have fully developed frontal lobes. It's not their job to hold these things alone. It's our job to create space and to let them borrow our frontal lobe that is fully developed and let them put that burden on us as we carry that with them through the growing up stages. So let me ask you a few questions. We're gonna do a little reflection time in here. Interdependence goes like this. Ask yourself, are you a self-made man? No, you're not. You might feel like you are, but let me ask you a question. I got some delicious hot cinnamon spice tea here. Did I grow the bushes that the tea leaves came from and all the spices and the other things that go in there? No, I didn't. Did I process them? No. Did I grind them and put them in a little tea bag and then attach the string and the little tag on there and then package it and put it in a box and ship it to the store that I bought it at? And then, no, I didn't. Or the cup of coffee that I had this morning. I did not grow the coffee fruit, dry it, process it, roast it. Well, I did roast it because we roast our own coffee. It's wonderful. But I didn't make the mug. I didn't make them up. So I depend on other people just in the most simple thing of a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. I have dependence on other people. And so when we understand that, just even in like a rudimentary sense, that we depend on others for a simple cup of coffee or tea, the sooner we can embrace it. Embrace the reality that we are interdependent on other humans. And the sooner that we embrace our interdependence, our reliance on others, the sooner we can grow beyond the limiting beliefs that we have to do it all alone. We want our kids to be able to ask for help when they need it, right? So we got to model it. We got to be able to say, not just in the quietness of our own heart and mind in the moments where the hard questions come, but we have to find safe spaces to say, I don't know what I'm doing. Can you help me? And that's why Confidad is here. I'm creating this space with the other clients that I have. We're creating a space where you talk about, to quote one of my clients, Josh, he says, I love talking about things that matter with people that care. Is there anything more important than wrestling through the hard things of fatherhood? The things that you're carrying right now that you're really struggling with. Maybe it's busyness and you feel like you have to say yes to all the opportunities because if you say no, it's like saying no to your kid growing into whatever that opportunity is, whether it's sports or music or art or whatever. Opportunity often makes us more busy because we feel like we have to say yes so that our kids can stay on track academically, athletically, all of it. It's a lie. We don't have to say yes. Busyness is a choice. And probably the result of really good marketing and advertising from other people saying, you should do this. It's really good for your kid. Other things we worry about and we stress about. Patience. Our kids not understanding us. Our kids disobeying us or having behavior issues and we don't know how to help them. These are the hard things that I've wrestled with, that my clients have wrestled with, that really, where do we go? Sometimes therapy is a fantastic place. We've done it with a couple of our kids, and it's a really helpful tool that we have in our society to help. But that's not community. That's like a paid service, right? That's something that isn't necessarily a permanent village. It could be a permanent institution within our village that sometimes we go to when we need it, just like the hospital or other things like that. Those are important things in our village. But within the village, who are your villagers? Who are the people that you lean on? And when you lean on them, are you able to go deep? Are you able to be vulnerable? Not just for the sake because 10 years ago it was a flashy thing to be vulnerable and bare your stuff with everyone. No, you bare your stuff with the people you trust. And if you're looking for something like that, we have it here at Confidad. And I'd love to have you join us. Not only so that you can have that for yourself, so that you can help carry some of this burden that we have as a community. The more people that join, and every single person that joins in and shows up fully, the better everyone else is. Because you realize you're not alone. You realize you're not the only person who struggles with patience or yelling at your kids or whatever the issue may be. Don't believe the lie that you're alone, because you're not. Join us. I want to equip you further into understanding fully what interdependence is and putting really strong handles on it so that you can walk confidently into this interdependent adulthood. Maybe you're not even there yet. Maybe you pretend like you have it all together. Maybe when you go to church or when you go to work, you put it all on and you're like, oh, I'm good. I put on the good face. Everything's all together. Wonderful. I'm not saying show up and tell everyone your stuff, but where do you get to show up and tell some people your stuff? Do you? Is it heavy? Yeah. And I know when I talk deep and we go deep, it feels like I already have too much going on. I already feel like I'm not good enough. I already feel like I don't know how to be a perfect parent. Well, first off, you're not a perfect parent. You never will be. So take that expectation off. Second, let me not only equip you and challenge you, but empower you. This is a 1% a day better kind of thing. This is marginal improvement. This is the thing that you get to do on the daily and fail at and screw up at and learn at, but be committed to growth. Are you committed to growing as a dad? Have you said it out loud to someone? Is there someone in your life that's going to hold you accountable to this, that is going to do something that helps you go, I used to struggle with this and now I don't, and here's the group of people that help me move from A to B? Do you have that? I couldn't find it anywhere. So we're building it, and it's wonderful, and it's beautiful, and it's messy, and it's challenging, and sometimes it's expensive, not just money-wise, but like mind share and in a little bit of a time sense. But what's more important? Binging that next show coming up on Netflix, or taking some really significant time to invest in yourself as a dad? I'll ask you this. Are your kids worth it? Are your kids worth you becoming interdependent, understanding what does it mean to be a human who relies on other humans in a confident, humble way? I'd argue it looks like the best leaders that we have in our world right now. The ones that you look at and you're like, how can they have such high competency and high character? It's because they rely on the community around them. So let me leave you with this. I want to empower you today as you move into the weekend. Maybe you're listening to this on Friday. Maybe you're listening to it whenever, but this is the Friday podcast. And so I want to empower you this weekend. Ask this question: how do you rest? You've worked really hard all week. You're probably tired. You're probably feeling a little burned. How do you rest? Have it in your mind? Now invite your kids into it. Find a way to rest well with your kids. Not put your feet up and say, I'm busy right now, and your phone's in your newspaper or your face is in the newspaper or your face is in your phone. Find a way to incorporate your kids into your rest. And then let me know. Comment. Send me an email. Shoot me a text. I want to know, what are you doing for rest this weekend, and how are you inviting your kids into it? Because they get to learn from you as you are doing this. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Glad to have you here on the podcast. Tomorrow, Saturdays are going to be a really short one. We'll call them Saturday Shorts. Just a quick little moment of encouragement, to help you remember you get to do this. So we'll see you again tomorrow. Share this, like, subscribe, all the things if you think it's worth it. Give it to the people in your life that you think need to hear what we're talking about here at Confidad. Remember, January, we are doing a mini course on how to set up your year for success, how to plan a year and have metrics and goals for your family so that you can build the family culture that you are proud of. So we'll walk you through family culture framework using our 4 builders. Super excited for it. Any questions, let me know. Would love to have you jump in on this limited group. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.